Today we are talking about the Aztec UFO incident, or crash, or however you want to name it. The first step is basically describing to you what happened. Now, I could make this a very short video and it'd be over very quickly, but instead, I'm going to walk you through the painful process that I went through to figure out whether, of course, UFOs crashed in Aztec, New Mexico. So the story. According to a man named Scully, which we'll talk about later, in March 1948, an unidentified aerial aircraft containing 16 humanoid bodies was recovered by the military in New Mexico after making a controlled landing in Hart Canyon, 12 miles northeast of the city of Aztec. The craft was said to be 99 feet in diameter, the largest UFO to date. Scully named sources of two men identified as Newton and Gebauer, who we'll also talk about later, who reportedly told him that the incident had been covered up and the military had taken credit. So, let's get into the very next spot. We went out to Hart Canyon. It is a rough road. The area was not marked well at all. And then the area was very, very rugged with very steep drops and very, very big drop-offs as well. So you don't want to be hiking around in that area. So the site visit, of course, was an interesting way to get our feet on the ground, see what the area actually looked like. That way, when you look at a map versus when you're on the ground, you get a completely different idea of what's actually happening. So the first thing I did, because I'm a genius, is I started with my video comments.
Emotional damage!
This at least kind of gave me a place to start with and, maybe debunk or find out that this was a real incident that happened or a myth. In one comment, one person said that on Highway 550, all the poles were cut from here to White Sands. From here to White Sands, okay? Every pole. There would be historical documentation of this. Obviously, if every single pole within a 100-meter radius was cut down, that's everything on Highway 550 down to White Sands. White Sands is not close. Debunked. Somebody also said that they remembered that in a Durango Herald article that in a 25 years today segment that they every 25 years or so they recognized this incident happening. I searched through the Durango Herald's archives. There is no mention of the UFO incident anywhere on the Durango Herald website, except for some people who like to meditate and try and use their minds to talk to aliens. Now, one person surprisingly actually caught me off guard, and they said something about an MJ-12 document. And I thought, what is a Michael Jackson 12 document? Well, turns out MJ-12 is the Majestic 12, a document that was investigated by the FBI, which the FBI basically, if there's a document, it's because they've investigated it, not necessarily because it's real. So, as a historian, what do? I pull up the actual archives. This is on the FBI's website if you want to check it out, about the Majestic 12. You know what? I read through the entire document. No mention of Aztec, New Mexico at all. Debunked. And on the last comment, we have somebody pointing out the concrete slab in my video. And that concrete slab, it was visible. I made a video of that concrete slab when I was there, okay? I seen it. And allegedly, according to some people on the internet, very, very, very accurate people on the internet, that this concrete slab was used to probably maneuver a crane to pick up the said aircraft, put it onto the back of a vehicle, and then, of course, truck it out of Hart Canyon. Simple enough, right? Well, somebody in the comments actually pointed something out very interesting. A low boy may be able to actually pull this object out of Hart Canyon if they cut down all the poles. Somebody also said they pointed out an M25 tank transporter. Again, would successfully work if you want to cut down every pole from here to White Sands, which, like I said, never happened. Now, concrete usually degrades quickly. I think this one might also be debunked. So the next thing I want to talk about is satellite data, landscape. When we were out there, I did not see any visible wounds in the ground. I didn't see anything where it looked like a crash had occurred. Scully goes on to say that he found aliens, the source had found aliens, 3 foot to 3'6", charred brown, but dressed in clothes from the 1890s. He said they looked like us, but they were short and had appendages that were normal. Doesn't really make sense to me. Why would people from the 1890s be flying around in UFOs? Doesn't really make sense. Now, there's a reason it doesn't make sense, okay? Because this, unfortunately, although an artifact, it's not true. So the man Leo Gobber that Scully had actually gotten the story from is known for doodle bugs. What's a doodle bug, you ask? It's not a bug. But during the early oil rush in the area, the San Juan Basin, he was a scam artist. He was selling snake oil to these oil men, which were called doodle bugs, to help them locate oil. Doodle bugs, from what I'm understanding now, don't appear much different from the same story that he sold Scully. Now, is Scully wrong? I don't think Scully's wrong. He just wrote down what he heard. But of course, he bought from a snake oil salesman. So what do you think? We may never know whether a UFO crashed in Aztec, New Mexico or not. We may know whether a UFO crashed in Roswell. I want you to tell me in the comments what you think. Have there been UFOs? Have you seen a UFO? Was the Aztec real? Was Roswell real? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for reading history on the special, and I hope you have a good night.